Go.
So today is a very special shiur because today is Tu B'Shvat. So we have a chance to learn about Tu B'Shvat. And we also had this past Shabbos Shira. So we're in. There was one of the highlights surrounded one of the great women of Jewish history. You had Shiras Devora in the Haftorah, and you also had Shiras Miriam. Those two things.
You know, it always amazes me that Miriam gave the team and they had to Egypt to come.
That's right. Rashi says they were expecting a miracle. We're going to get to that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Tu B'Shvat, an introduction about Tu B'Shvat, and then we're going to go into the Parsha. So the title of today's shiur is The Mysterious Dance of Miriam and the Pinius of Tu B'Shvat, and understanding in depth what Tu B'Shvat is really all about. Misunderstood holiday.
Did you say mysterious?
Yes. The mysterious dance of Miriam. Very mysterious. And the Pinius, the deeper meaning, inner meaning of Tu B'Shvat. Okay. So first of all, let's start with Tu B'Shvat. Why do we observe Tu B'Shvat? What is the source rabbinically or Jewishly for this holiday? Observance. Not a Yom Tov, but it's a day which we don't say Tachanun. So it's considered a day that has a certain aspect of Kedusha and Simcha.
Of the Truma and the we have to, from the trees, we have to be able to count.
That's right. Very good. It's part of the Truma Maisa process. It's Rosh Hashanah le'ilanot. Rosh Hashanah for what? They have to go to shul and daven? No. But we have to know when to look at the fruit that they're producing as having a specific year. Okay? So we got to know. Tu B'Shvat, it's a machlokas between Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai says we count from the first of the month of Shvat, Aleph Shvat, the day that Moshe Rabbeinu started teaching Torah, the book of Dvarim, and we're going to get back to the book of Dvarim, the anniversary of his teaching the book of Dvarim, or from 15th of Shvat. And we know that Chazal teach us that the majority of the rain has already reached Eretz Yisrael. But I think we did pretty well this winter. I'm not sure exactly the numbers. But we only, that means you can daven that it was only 51%, because it doesn't mean that we're done. It's only the majority. So maybe we have 49% to go. We're hoping. But why is this a day of Yom Tov? You know what? And you know, if you look around in Klal Yisrael as a whole, it's probably one of the more observed holidays across the Jewish spectrum. It's right up there with Hanukkah. Everybody wants to make a Tu B'Shvat Seder. Right, even in the non-Orthodox elements of, they tend to focus on Tu B'Shvat, maybe not for the best reasons. Like maybe they want to make it like an ecology, global warming day, which is what they do, which is a little bit off, in my opinion. But everybody wants, they feel that it has a certain Kabbalistic draw to it. It has a mystical aspect that appeal to people. So it's not just about JNF. Right? Although JNF does publish a Tu B'Shvat Seder. I was looking online for a quick summary of the Tu B'Shvat Seder. Anybody go to a Tu B'Shvat Seder?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes? We went with Rabbi Twersky.
Yeah.
How was that?
I didn't go. Beautiful.
No? Did they give out all the fruits and everything, and the cups of wine and the whole thing? Right.
I went to one.
So
Oh,
let's...
you didn't go through a Seder.
He did go through it.
No, but all the Shivat HaMinim.
The Shivat HaMinim. So I'm going to tell you just very quickly what the Tu B'Shvat Seder is, and we're going to see it in the context of the Parsha. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to bring, of course, the Peyot of Eretz Yisrael, because that's praising the Peyot of Eretz Yisrael. Always praise Eretz Yisrael. But on a deeper level, there are 4 worlds that the Kabbalah says we exist on. In reality exists, the created reality of the world, which bridges up to the Ein Sof. Ein Sof is Hashem, which is absolutely unfathomable on any level. But Hashem, through the principle of tzimtzum, of sort of the vacated space, created a quote-unquote reality that can be perceived as separate from Hashem. It's not really separate from Hashem. Our big bechira is always to make that recognition that Hashem is just hiding behind this reality. But the lower that reality descends, the bigger the fracture or the fissure between Hashem and us grows. And that's reflected in fruits and vegetables too. For example, there are some things that grow that have an incredibly hard shell. What would you say is included in that category of incredibly hard shells? Coconut, walnuts, correct. So that according to the Arizal, corresponds to the lowest world, the world which we live, which is called the Olam Ha'asiyah. Remember, there are 4 worlds. Abiyah, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, Asiyah. Those are the world. Beyond Atzilus is Ein Sof. There's nothing incomprehensible. There's nothing that we can't even grasp in a conceptual sense what is Atzilus or beyond Atzilus. It's just, but we do know, for example, that according to the Rabbi, the neshamos of the highest tzaddikim, including Moshe Rabbeinu, originated in that world. So when they come down to this lower world, they are less bothered by klipot. When Moshe came down to this world, he shone already. He was kitov. He was all good. Noach was born without a bris milah, meaning he didn't need a bris milah. Because those souls on which the whole world depends are in such a lot, they come from such a high source that they come with less baggage. I like to use that word, being a social worker, a psychologist. They come with less baggage. But there are some things that come with heavy baggage. And they're represented by these things. Egoze melech. Do you know that walnuts are called egoze melech? I'm not sure why. You need an army to break them, or maybe that's the point. So, corresponding to that, that's the Olam HaAsiyah. Now, there are the next level of refinement as we go upwards in the world. This is really, really what Tu B'Shvat is all about, according to the Ari. If you didn't hear it from Rabbi Twersky or where else, this is it. That the next step is something that has a very hard pit, but on the inside. So it's the reverse of a walnut, but it still has something really, really completely devoid of any nutrition or nutritional utility or value. What would be an example of that? An avocado, perhaps. I don't think you can't do anything with the avocado nut, right? Inside, pit. One of the Shiva Minim, dates. Dates. Dates and olives. 2 of the 7 minim really are, have this level. So that is the level of the world of Abiyah, which is we had Olam Ha'asiyah, right? And now we're going to Olam. What's that? Oh, yes. It's not specific. Just like a neshama is not specifically male or female. It can be in a male in this lifetime and a female in another lifetime. It's completely possible. So it's just how Hashem's Bechira designs that particular neshama's assignment for tikkun, for that, at that particular point in its history, in its evolution, for lack of a better word. Development is probably a better word. So, Abiyah, right? Atzilus, Bria, right? Yitzira, Asiyah. When you go up to the world of Yitzira, of formation, the fruits there have a hard pit, but it's inner. But on the outer, it's accessible. When you go to the Olam HaBriya, okay, you're talking about things that have edible shells. What would be in something that has an edible shell? Like an orange, perhaps a grapefruit. You could eat it. Orange peels are already on the level of edible. You make marmalade, right? There's not something in them that's completely not utilitarian. Like a cherry has a pit. You can't do anything with that pit. It has no nutritional option. You really?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe it's... Really? Oh, I did not know that. Well, do you see, it's because it's moving up on the scale a little bit. It's already in the Olam of Yetzirah, so I would understand that maybe that pit has some higher level than the lowest. When you get to the Olam HaBriya, we're talking about edible shells. An apple, right? An apple has an edible shell. You peel the apple, it's still food. You peel a potato, it's still food. People survived the Holocaust on potato peels. It's true. But when you get up to the world of Atzilus, it's no longer relevant to eating. We've now gone beyond eating to a more spiritual one of our senses. What's our most spiritual sense? Smell. So at that point, you're supposed to take something that smells good. So we took our lemons from our lemon tree, right? Which is about the fragrance. And of course, what's one of the fruits that has the best fragrance? The esrog. Thank you. So esrog, really, it's the citrus, but particularly esrog, is what you're supposed to have to speak about the world of Atzilus. Okay, everybody got that? So we moved up the ladder. Now, just like the Seder of Pesach, there's a corresponding ladder that you climb with cups of wine, 4 cups of wine. Here it's a little counterintuitive, because you would think which corresponds to white wine, which corresponds to really red wine. Where would you put the reddest wine, and where would you put the whitest wine? And then 2 shades in the middle. Like you have 4 cups. One is all red, one is all white, one is mostly red, minority white, and one is majority white and minority red. Those are the 4 cups. Which world would you assign them to? So the way the Ari does it is that the highest world is the reddest wine. The highest is the reddest. The highest is the reddest. It's clear. There's a clarity. Like that. Come sit down. Yeah, sure. Oh, you want that? You want to sit over here? Sit next to mommy? Whatever. Okay, fine. Welcome, welcome. Bruchim habaim to my elegant, darling parents, who I can't keep up with, running us ragged, us old folk. So we were just reviewing the Seder Tu B'Shvat, so it's good timing. So again, the highest level is etrog. Now, and the highest level is the real red wine. Which wine do you use for the Seder, ideally? Red. Okay. Zecher lo what? Why red wine at the Seder? Dam. Which dam? The 2 dams that got the Jews out of Egypt. Dam Mila and Dam Pesach. Did you know when they were scheduled to put on the doorposts, on the mashkof and the mezuzah, the blood, so Chazal tell us, it was not only the blood of the Karban Pesach, it was also the Dam Mila mixed in. And that's why they say, B'damai chayi, damai chayi, and that's one of the concepts of mitzitza b'peh, by a bris milah. Let's not go there, we'll get arrested. Or at least investigated. Okay. What is esrog? Now let me take one more very important point about esrog. The Ari Kadosh and the Ben Ish Chai and Nasan of Breslov, based on the Ari, teach us that on this day, on Tu B'Shvat, you're supposed to pray for a gutta esrog. You're supposed to pray for a wonderful esrog. Now, whether you're male or female, you can pray that your husband or your children, male children, have wonderful esrogim, but you got to be yotzei a mitzvah also, at least if you want to, so you can have also your esrog or your husband's esrog. You know the famous story about esrog and shalom bayis? You know that story? Speaking about women and esrog. So there was one particular Chassidish Rebbe that he valued the mitzvah of arba minim more than anything. And whatever little money they had, and his wife was expecting whatever money possible for the chag, and they had none. Whatever money he could scrape together, he bought the most expensive esrog in town. And when he came home with his esrog that was and had nothing for yontif, his wife promptly took the esrog, threw it against the wall. The pitum bounced off, and that was that.
That movie.
Oh yes, thank you for reminding me. Incredible movie, Ushpizin.
Oh, right.
about the two secular Israeli kind of like criminal types who end up making a Mongol, which is the national activity of Israel, and you squeeze a little lemon juice from the etrog, from their host. Right. And yet, that's a very good metaphor, because what was the end of that story? They end up coming back for the bris. Right. Right. So the wife was pretty upset, not in the movie, but in the Chassidish story. And the husband said to his wife, he said, look, maybe we don't have money for the Chag, or maybe we don't have an esrog, but let's at least have Shalom Bayis. So that goes above all. So, but the bottom line is that esrog somehow became the centerpiece and the highest ranking item of the Tu B'Shvat Seder. Why? Because it's the thing that has the smell, and that's the highest level. I'll say this word in the name of Rav Moshe Gottesman, Zecher Tzaddik V'Bracha, who passed away recently. He was a legendary mechanech and Baal Ohev Tzedakah, Rodef Tzedakah, did a remarkable amount of good in his life, more than many people do in many lifetimes. He was said of word, etrog represents the four things that we daven about in our Shmona Esrei for complete shalema. Now think about the Shmona Esrei. What are the four brachos in the Shmona Esrei which include the word shalema? That we daven for in the weekday Shmona Esrei, okay? Take a look. Refuah shalema, correct. Geula shalema. What else? Tshuva shlema. And what else? Emunah shlema. Right? Let's go over that. So, because we say, the bracha of tshuva is V'achzirenu b'tshuva shlema lefanecha. That's number one. And then in the bracha of Rafa'inu, V'halei refuah shlema l'chol makosenu. Good. That's two. And then in the next one is Rachzirenu, but Jewish stuff, that's the second one, right? And then we have Shema Kolenu. Where do we have Emunah Shlema? Rachzirenu, Tshuva Shlema. There are four. One second. Let's go again. We have the first one is Tshuva Shlema. The next one is Galenu, yeah. Oh, this is in Ashkenaz. It may be only in the Sfard. Agula Shlema, Refuah Shlema, and Tshuva Shlema. That's at least in the Sfard. So then, what do these four things represent? They represent what I would like to suggest, since it's linked to the Seder, not individual things, but a process. Just like we go through the four worlds, we're going up a ladder. In other words, this is a process. How do you start? Emunah. What's the next step? When you have Emunah, this is what I'm adding to this. That's my added value here, okay? That's what I get paid for. Okay, so Emunah Shlema leads to Tshuva Shlema. Once you did Tshuva, you're going to have a Refuah Shlema, because now you're reconnected with Hashem and you're able to daven, and Hashem will take away the Yisurim because there's no need for them anymore because you did Tshuva. So you have the Refuah Shlema, and ultimately, if you keep on that pattern, we'll have the Geula Shlema. So actually, it's nice conceptualization that the Esrog, which represents all of the Shlemus, is of course the theme of Tu B'Shvat because it encompasses the Esrog. Now we just have to ask one more question. Why Tu B'Shvat? It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful concept. But isn't this more connected to Sukkot? Okay, we'll stop here for a second. We've got to change the disc.